hunters. My name is Spiger, and I'm a hunting horn main. Yes, you did read that properly. I posit that it's one of the best weapons for starting out in Monster Hunter World, or in Monster Hunter 3 or 4 for that matter.
But Spiger, ain't the hunting horn real complicated?
Yes, it is actually. A lot of hunters regard it and the charge blade as the most technical melee weapons, and I'm not disagreeing with them. But it's important to distinguish between the skill ceiling and the skill floor. I'm sure you've heard the phrase easy to learn, hard to master, and it definitely applies here. There's so much depth between techniques like melody cueing, directional performances, off-angling attacks, etc., but you don't need any of that to start smashing monsters into the dirt. I actually gravitated toward Hunting Horn when I began, back in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, because I found it easier than other weapons that interested me. It has a handful of traits, making it well suited, both to inexperienced players and to anyone progressing through the ranks. We'll list those out before teaching you just the fundamentals of wielding the horn, and then we'll wrap up with a sample hunt demonstrating a basic playstyle with live commentary before sending you into the field. Unlike most action games, Monster Hunter doesn't employ any sort of lock-on or aim assist, which can be frustrating for newcomers. But the long reach and broad sweeping attacks of Hunting Horn really help with landing hits, which is something I especially appreciated when trying to smack little raptors on a Nintendo 2DS. Being a blunt weapon, the horn also naturally makes monsters easier targets by stunning and exhausting them, providing extra opportunities to safely dish out damage. Exhaustion is something that's particularly relevant in the early game, as later on the monsters will spend more time in an enraged state, which overrides exhaustion, and you'll frequently fight tireless dragons, which aren't susceptible to the condition. Fast move speed and sheathing make it easy to recover from mistakes or avoid taking damage in the first place, so long as you don't overcommit with the longer attack animations the weapon has. Hunting Horn is also generally immune to something we call bouncing. If you strike a tougher part of a monster, your weapon can bounce off and cause you to recoil. This too is more relevant early on because of the lower grades of sharpness that weapons have prior to being upgraded. Finally, there are the melodies to consider, which grant all manner of useful passive effects. Many of these effects are also available via the armor skills system, but access to the armor skills is rather limited before defeating Azora Magdaros and reaching high rank. In a sense, Hunting Horn lets us cheat by gaining extra skills from the very beginning. Now, let's visit the smithy to craft the primary horn I recommend for using all the way through the story of base game and the Iceborne expansion. Okay, so here we are at the smithy. Let's go ahead and take a look at the options we have here at the beginning of the game. First thing to note is that you'll likely want to avoid defender weapons and guardian armor for that matter, despite the game recommending them so strongly. These were not in the game originally. They are intentionally overpowered equipment, added for the sake of rushing through to the Iceborne expansion content. So that leaves us with the metal bagpipe and the bone horn, which is more of a didgeridoo. The bone weapons are basically trading sharpness for additional attack power when compared to the metal weapons, and that's generally a good thing for heavier weapons like the Hunting Horn. If we look at the melodies, we have a few that I quite like for moving through the story. Scoutfly Power Up will make tracking down monsters go more quickly, which is something you'll be doing a lot as you encounter each new monster. And then those next two melodies can nullify basically all of the various environmental effects on the different maps, And story mode is basically a big tour through all those maps, so having both of those melodies for dealing with all of those effects all in one spot is really nice. Let's go ahead and craft the horn. And then we can see if we can upgrade it. We'll back out from forge equipment to upgrade. Find that new horn there. And you can see that the way weapons work, there's basically a branch on this big tree for each one, so we can go down this bone line to the right, not very far at the moment, or we could branch off using parts from other monsters that we haven't encountered yet. Sticking with just the main bone line is always good, at least until you get to like the very end game. Although, you should feel free to use other weapons here and there as you see fit. I'm just saying, bone is always a solid choice. Looks like we can upgrade once here. Yep, that's it for now, so we'll proceed over to the training room and I'll show you how to actually work this thing. Training time. We're going to keep it to just the basics. So, pull out our horn here, and you can see a lot of stuff going on in the top right of the HUD. Got all your melodies listed out. There's a button guide showing which buttons do which notes. We are only going to mess with the first two, the white note and the red note, just hitting single face buttons. As I run around here, you might notice I'm a lot slower than I was in that footage earlier. And if I go up and hit one of these barrels, you'll also note that I do actually bounce. That's because we have to play our self-improvement melody, which every horn has, and which lasts a really long time, so those concerns go away. That's just 2 white notes. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and play that other melody that doesn't involve anything besides white and red, Attack Up, because everybody likes to do more damage. So, if you look at the kind of stave on the top left by our health and stamina bars, we'll just do a couple of white notes to get self-improvement queued up, and a couple of red notes. And then, as you can see, we just hit R2, the trigger button, in order to start playing these. Those melodies will turn green in the top right, and I hit the button again in order to encore, and they become purple. There are 2 grades to each melody, so their effects improve and they last longer if you play them twice. Now, when it comes to actually attacking with the hunting horn, the only real hurdle with the basics is neutral versus directional inputs. For example, if I stand here and hit circle, I'll do a right swing, but if I move first and hit circle, then I'll do this little double flourish. This is akin to, like, maybe Super Smash Bros. Is a popular example, where it'll do different attacks based on the direction you're pushing. Although the only distinction here is whether you are or are not moving the left stick. So you'll want to get used to moving into position, quickly releasing the stick, and attacking for those neutral inputs, if that's what you're looking for. Insofar as combos go, you can go from any attack into any other attack, but you can't do the same one twice. So if I do that plain old right swing and combo it, then it will do the other version of attack on that same button. But I could go into left swing instead, or I could go into the forward slam, which is the directional triangle input. So yeah, they're not too different. There's no real worry if you accidentally do a directional input when you meant to do a neutral input, at least with those. It's a little different with the other tag, but we're not worried about that for now. So we're going to go and do a hunt with just self-improvement, attack up, and good old right swing and left swing. We are on the hunt. We're going to go beat up one of my fashion icons, the Kulu Yaku. Ah, he's right here. Perfect. So, I've spotted the monster. Let's go ahead and play our melodies. Remember to do our encore. And then we just go and beat him up. Hunting Horn. Oh, he's a bit of a big one. Fortunately, Hunting Horn is really nice at swinging up to the heads of these more theropod-type monsters. In general, I'm going to try to stay not in front of him. I get off of that line of attack and use my long range to hit him from the side. I'll let him commit to an attack, and then I counterattack. Oh no, guys. He's got a rock to block our attacks. Too bad we can't be blocked. Yep, block away. Oh, he's already, not really liking this so much. Let's do what we're supposed to do and grab some slinger ammo to make him drop the rock. He is reducing our damage, even if our attacks don't bounce off. Alright, before we get into another brawl, let's refresh that buff. You can roll out of those performances, even before you start playing, by the way. Okay, that should help our damage. Got the head break. I'll just keep swinging away. Should get a stun shortly. There it is. We prevented him from digging up another boulder. Here, I'll go ahead and, when you stun a monster, it can be a good time to play melodies. You can see how a blunt weapon can really bully these monsters once you start getting a chain. He's enraged currently, but whenever that fades, he'll probably be exhausted. Because hitting him in the head with a blunt weapon makes him stunned. But hitting him anywhere applies exhaustion. It reduces the stamina that they have. Alright, we'll go ahead and sharpen. Pretty low on our yellow up there. Do a quick rebuffing. Oh, he's enraged again. I don't like that. Oh yeah, he's a little tuckered out now. You can see him drooling. try to hit the head when we can. He's limping now. It's close to being done. You can see how there's really not much maintenance, at least early on, with the hunting horn. The later hunting horns actually have melodies with lower durations, although you can counter that with the Horn Maestro skill, which makes your melodies last longer. Oh, please tell me he's gonna stop underneath that. Yep. Oh, triangle circle. You can see that it's pretty hard to miss attacks. We've got another stun here. Let's do our self-improvement. You can see actually hitting the monsters with those melodies, there's like a sonic shockwave that pulses out. So they're decent attacks, although they can be a little unsafe since they're longer. But yeah, you can roll out of those. Anyway. Hopefully that well demonstrated the kind of skill floor distinction I was talking about. Yeah, if this video picks up any traction, then I may do an advanced guide later. I'm probably going to do a quick overview of the Hunting Horn trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds. That's got me pretty excited as a longtime main. But yeah, post any questions down in the comments. Like this if you try Hunting Horn and think you might use it more regularly, or pick it up as a newbie monster hunter. And thanks for watching. Happy hunting.